Hello there, everybody. This is Fitzraven, and there's an insight that I'd like to share with you today. People don't change because they need to change. They change because they want to. Truth is, I don't really think people change. We actually just relinquish a layer of ourselves or an identity of ourselves that we've become attached to, so that a truer aspect of ourselves can come forth and radiate. But that changes the status quo of a person's life, of a person's experience. People don't do that when they need to. They do that when they want to, which is why I like to say I don't coach people who need coaching. I coach people who want coaching. And that has to do with two reasons. Number one, when people are in a state of, I need to change, there's a kind of weight and burden of condemnation, of constriction, of urgency and desperation that's just depressing them. And that burden, that cloud, is so depleting that actually, while the person is saying, I need to change, they're simultaneously depleting themselves of the energy, of the excitement, of the vitality that it would take to create the shift that they actually want to create. When a person is relaxed, when a person is excited, when a person is open, they have access to so much more of their own energy and their own capacity to grow. So that's one reason why when people need to change, quote unquote, they usually don't, because they're sucking and blowing. The experience of I need to change, the experience of desperation, of urgency, of crisis, very often depletes the person from the kind of access to energy that would actually make a significant difference. Another reason is because it's usually not even true. You need to change, really? Well, things have been working out for you so far without changing. So, I know many people go through life tolerating and surviving their own mediocrity and the mediocrity of everything going on for them. So it's not really true. It's an egoic trick. The mind says, oh man, I really need to change, just so that we can kind of believe about ourselves that we're onto something, when in reality, we don't need to change. We've been coping okay. We've been surviving. We've made it until here. So why do we really need to change? In truth, you don't. You could survive. But if you want to change, if you want to bring something more of your neshama out, that's a whole different story. So there's actually a lie in the assertion, I need to change. So those are a couple of reasons why people change when they want to, not when they need to. And here's what I want to add. There are three things that have to be in place for a person to really make contact and inhabit a desire to change. Number one, a person has to believe that they're allowed to have what it is that they want. They're allowed. They're allowed to, from a religious perspective, they're allowed to by God, they're allowed to by the Rebbe, they're allowed to. They're not going to be a bad person for getting what they want, for having what they desire, right? Sometimes people have to look at their theological beliefs, religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, to really check, like, what do I believe? Do I believe that I'm allowed to, that I have permission, that I have a right to have things that I want? Oftentimes, people secretly believe they're not allowed to. Another area that a person needs to clear up is capability. What do I believe about my capacity or my capability to generate results, to create and bring about the things that I would love? And the other area a person has to look at is deservingness. What do I believe about my own deservingness? And not just what do I believe in my head, but what do I believe in my body? How does my somatic experience, my kinesthetic experience, what does that have to say? How does that inform me about my level of deservingness? Those are three areas that block people from making full contact with what it is that they desire and inhabiting that fully to be able to pursue that and grow their life. And their life, when I say life, I mean material things in life, like money and other material things. It could be emotional or psychological things, respect, impact, and it could be spiritual things, greater connection with Hashem, with other people, freedom from judgmentalism, presence. It's the gamut. There's one additional dimension that I would like to add, which is for many people, especially in religious circles, they don't even believe that they're allowed to want anything. So I said the first area that a person wants to look at is, am I allowed, what do I believe about the permission that I have, the extent to which I'm allowed to have what I want, achieve what I desire, right? That's already assuming you have an idea of what it is that you want. For some people, they need to begin with, what are my beliefs around having a desire, period? What are my beliefs about having a want, period? Because some people really have it that they're not allowed to want anything. That's not holy to want something. That's not acceptable to want something. It's not righteous to have a desire. They invalidate themselves if they want something. So for some people, the question about am I allowed goes so far back to be not only am I allowed to have X, Y, and Z, am I allowed to even have a desire? These are three areas where we want to really look in order to really get into that place of there's something that I desire, a shift that I would love to create, a result that I would love to generate, in order to really get into this place of I want that, because that's the most creative and true place from which to pursue it and achieve it and create it. You want to look at, what are my beliefs around what I'm allowed, including if I'm even allowed to have a desire, right? And of course, following that to fulfill on that desire. What are my beliefs around what I'm capable of? And what are my beliefs around what I'm deserving of? I'm sending you love. My name is Fitz. Thank you for watching. God bless you.